What's up?
Not much.
How are you?
I'm good. Tired. Everyone's tired though.
Yeah. How are classes going?
Classes are what's tiring me out.
Really?
Yeah, I've got Bio 205, which is cell bio, and that's kind of killing me a little bit just because, I don't know, like 204 I did so well in. I got 99% on the final in 204.
99?
Yeah, I was so psyched. It's like,
That's the first of the bio series, right?
Yeah.
And then you're in the second one now.
yeah, I started it a quarter late. I did it last quarter, but it was okay. I did so well in that one, so I was so sure that I'd come into this one and be like, all right, if I just do the same thing, it'll turn out so well. And then it just ended up that I started taking it, and I was like, oh, I feel really good about this class. And the first midterm hit, and I was like, I studied for it the exact same way I would have studied for a 204 midterm, and I just got blown away.
What do you think made it different?
What I think it was, honestly, is from looking at the tests and looking at the different testing styles, I think it was that I was looking more at the big picture concepts. And that's what the last teacher went over. He would ask you about the big picture concepts. He'd be like, he'd look in his notes and he would say a line, and then you'd see a question regarding that exact line in the test. He'd be like, if you could remember everything you'd seen in the notes, you'd do well on the test. But this teacher takes the big picture concepts. He's like, he expects you to know it, and then when you come to the test, he expects you to apply it to minute detail. And then he expects you to know a lot of trivia too, which kind of caught me up, because there's like a question is like, how many cell membranes will you go through if you go from the outside of a plant cell to the inside of a chloroplast, I think it was. And I was just like, I think it's like, and name all of them. I was like, oh, I don't know the names of them technically, because there's like weird like Zaitsev membranes. I don't remember it.
Did you find it easier last quarter then to like do bigger pictures, or do you just like think you just haven't learned how to figure this teacher out yet?
I think that I was just generally more interested in the last quarter because it primarily focused on evolution, which really interests me. I don't know, like, because I want to be a behavior neurology / biology major, and it's like when I signed up for biology or when I applied to be a biology major, they asked me which one I wanted, and for some reason I immediately knew I just wanted to be a general biology major as opposed to like being a cell bio major or molecular bio major, all those different majors, and like I just wanted to do general bio, and like general bio I enjoyed so much because I just really enjoyed the idea of evolution, because I guess I find it interesting and kind of fun to toy with the idea of like there was this animal, and then because this trait was superior, made it better able to survive and reproduce, that moved on to the next side, and it was just a mutation at one point, and then it turned into a trait that's readily necessary. Like our fingers, amoebas don't have those, but it's because
we need them.
Yeah, they don't need them. Like, we needed fingers, like we needed thumbs and appendages, and I don't know. I just find it really interesting how the chain of events leads to this point. And then I find it really interesting because it ties into my fascination with the brain, how the brain is developed, and how kind of like evolution plays into the idea of we kind of don't fully understand because we're not evolved yet. Like, we're not evolved enough yet. Like, I read an interesting quote at the beginning of my behavior neurology class, and it was like, the question for all of time is the brain smart enough to understand itself?
Ooh, that is really interesting.
I thought that really like, I was just like, man, I'm in the right field.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like you should like know everything about your body because you are in your body, but we don't. So I think that's really interesting too.
Yeah.
Are you into like psychology and stuff then, since you're really interested in it?
Yeah, I took Psych 101, and then behavior neurology was Psych 220, and like I find psychology very interesting. But I found that 101 didn't interest me as much as I thought it would. I took the class, found it fascinating, enjoyed the class, but I just found that I wasn't as interested in traditional psychology as I am in behavior neurology. So I don't think I'm down for the whole like therapist, lay down on the couch and let's talk about your problems type thing, as much as I am in like, let's discover what part of the brain controls this, why would this have developed, and if we do affect this part of the brain, how does it affect you behavioral-wise? Because I'm really fascinated in the inverse and reverse relationship. I don't think that's correct terminology, but I think that's what I'm going to call it, because like you can affect the brain and it'll have a physical ramification, and you can affect the body and it'll have a mental ramification, because like every experience you have changes the neural connections in your brain. So it's like if I go and jump off a cliff, then something has changed in my brain fundamentally because I have that memory. Something had to have changed because I can access that memory as a thought. I can almost re-envision it in my mind's eye, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you change something in the brain, like if you cut a portion of my brain out, it's obviously going to have a very direct ramification Yeah, I think what I'm interested in about it, I had to write a thesis on this when I was in ninth grade, and I wrote on about how the myth is that we only use 10% of our brains, and how that's completely just false, and
Yeah.
anyone that buys into it just hasn't done the research yet, or they've been told by the wrong sources, and like they're saying that 10% of the brain is all that we really use, and Albert Einstein used this much more of his brain. He's like 50%. He's so smart. It's malarkey. I mean, because we use 100% of our brain. It's just that we probably don't use all of it at the same time. Probably about 10% of it is active at a minimum because those are regulatory processes. So then I wrote my thesis on it about like, well, like if there was only 10% of our brain, would that mean that we have potential that's untapped? But it's like it wouldn't make sense we would have all that brain evolutionary wise if we weren't going to use it. Yeah, we weren't going to use it. It wouldn't make any sense. So then I was really interested in the idea of like maximizing potential because it's like, well, we do have this brain. Albert Einstein was a brilliant man. Do each of us have those potential? Because I mean, the brain's only made of so many different components. It doesn't change wildly for everyone. That person's brain is made of iron. Whoa! Yeah, he's really smart too. I need iron. Like we're all pretty much made of the same components, the same building blocks of the universe make us up as people. So I'm just interested in like, why is that different per person? What are different personalities? What changes us fundamentally?
Do you know what you want to do after school with that, or just are you kind of focusing on them now?
I'm definitely focusing on them now because I got to get a day at a time.
Yeah.
With grades to make it somewhere else in the future. But I'm very interested in possibly being a neurosurgeon because I've always found that very fascinating. Like surgery, just in general. Like I used to be really scared of it because my dad's had a lot of surgeries it wasn't necessarily young, but like when I was born, he had a couple of surgeries before. He's had surgeries all through my life, so I've always just been like, don't know how I feel about surgery. That seems intense because I've seen him through the whole rehabilitation process, and it's like he gets knocked down so weak, and he comes back strong. I'm like, oh, right on, man. But that kind of makes me want to be like a physical therapist.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want surgery. I just want to be strong. But it's like, I think it's definitely very interesting how surgery does go in the body because it's just like, I don't know, you can be so meticulous with it, which I do like to be. I like to be meticulous with my work and take pride in what I do and try to do the best that I can do with it. Like I make pizzas at the Ridge on Tuesdays, and I've been doing it on Sunday nights lately because a coworker has been showing up. But
you work there?
Yeah, I work at the Ridge, so I've been balancing that in school.
So your pizzas are like perfectly like.
Well, not perfect because I'm not OCD, but I take pride in it, so I do try to make them good for what they can be. So it's like some people just like they'll throw it together and be like, whatever, and put it out. But it's like I like to go the little extra mile. It's like if I do have the free time, which I sometimes do, like I'll make stuffed crust pizzas just because it's like people love that.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look out on Tuesday.
Alright. I decided I'm gonna call it Travis Tuesdays. I told my boss I'm putting up signs whether he wants me to or not. I'm like, it is happening. So it's like I don't know. I like to be meticulous and not necessarily detail oriented, but I like to produce good quality work because I take pride in whatever I do, no matter what it is. Whether it be pizza making or like doing surgery on someone. Yeah, I think that I can be very good at that because I just be very meticulous, very calculated.
Are you interested? Are you like involved in other things because you're on campus because you like work and then?
I have a diverse array of activities right now. I currently work at the Pizza Red on Tuesdays and Sundays occasionally, and then I also am doing intramural football right now.
How's that going?
Well, I'm the captain of the team, so I have to end up rounding everyone together for practices and for the games and everything. I'm in charge of a lot of details, but it's a lot. It's a lot of fun. It really pays off. Like I get to play with all my friends, and plus gives me a really great excuse to get my butt out the door and get some exercise. Otherwise, I'll just sit there and be like, I gotta read some biology. It's sunny outside. Looks like they're having fun. No, so I get outside and I get to go rough up some people sometimes.
Is it contact or is it just?
No, it's flag, but during practices, you get a little into it. Keep the moment sometimes with the bigger guys.
You do practices and stuff too.
Yeah, we practice down in the biofield. Okay, so this is the end of the season now, so we were practicing about 4 or 5 times a week for about 2 or 3 hours a day. So
seriously, seriously.
Me and my roommate were pretty crazy about it because I didn't play football, but my dad's a big football player. My brother plays football.
Yeah,
he was really crazy about football. I was like, I always wanted to play football. So we got really into it. We'd have practices that were pretty intense, pretty long. We got into it. It was a lot of fun. We had a really good time, and we just got people to come together that were really into football too. It's just we found people.